Hello and welcome back to another EDH deck tech idea. Today we are taking a look at Kambal, Profiteering Mayor. He's a 3 mana 2/4, and whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your opponent's control, for each of them create a tapped token that's a copy of it. This ability triggers only once each turn. He has another triggered ability that says whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. We are going to build this deck as a typical aristocrat's drain theme, but while we are draining our opponents out, we will also hand them tokens, so we can also profit from their tokens by creating copies of them. First of all, we want to bring out Kambal and then we want to control the board. For example, with spells like Generous Gift, a 3 mana instant, destroy target permanent, its controller creates a 3/3 green elephant creature token. That means that we are destroying a permanent, and with Kambal on the field we will also get the green elephant creature token. We play Get Lost, a 2 mana instant, destroy target creature, enchantment or planeswalker, and its controller creates 2 map tokens. Angelic Ascension, a 2 mana instant, exile target creature or planeswalker, its controller creates a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying, which will lead to us also getting a 4/4 angel creature token. Fateful Absence, a 2 mana instant, destroy target creature or planeswalker, its controller investigates. Once they have created the clue token, we will also get one of those. Bovine Intervention, a 2 mana instant, destroy target artifact or creature, its controller creates a 2/2 white ox creature token. And of course Stroke of Midnight, a 3 mana instant, destroy target non-land permanent, its controller creates a 1/1 white human creature token. And now let's talk about a few really cool creatures that really hit the theme with Kambal on the field. Combat Calligrapher, a 4 mana 3/3 with flying, and Inklings can't attack you or planeswalkers you control. Whenever a player attacks one of your opponents, that attacking player creates a tapped 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying that's attacking that opponent. Not only will we grow the board of our opponents, we will also get those Inkling tokens, and in addition to that we don't have to be afraid of them because they cannot attack us or planeswalkers we control. Charismatic Conqueror, a 2 mana 2/2 with vigilance, and whenever an artifact or creature enters the battlefield untapped and under an opponent's control, they may tap that permanent. If they don't, you create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. Our opponents have to make a choice when this card is on the battlefield. Either they make their stuff enter tapped, or they will hand us a token which will also drain them with Kambal on the field. Taser, Opulent Oligarch, a 3 mana 2/3 with Death Touch, and at the beginning of your end step, investigate for each opponent who lost life this turn. This will be quite easy as we are creating a bunch of tokens in this deck, and with Kambal on the field we will drain all of our opponents, so we will get 3 clue tokens. And whenever a clue you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. This ability triggers only once each turn. Taser and Kambal have a really powerful synergy, as we will create a bunch of tokens, and as soon as we crack those clue tokens for card draw, we will create even more tokens which will drain our opponents. Master of Ceremonies, a 4 mana 3/4, and at the beginning of your upkeep each opponent chooses money, friends or secrets. For each player who chose money, you and that player each create a treasure token. For each player who chose friends, you and that player each create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token, and for each player who chose secrets, you and that player each draw a card. Usually this card doesn't see that much play, but especially in Kambal it really provides a lot of value, as you will double the amount of tokens you get, and with creating those tokens you will also drain your opponents out. Baron Bertram Greywater, a 4 mana 3/4, and whenever one or more tokens enter the battlefield under your control, create a 1/1 black vampire rogue creature token with lifelink. This ability triggers only once each turn, and he is also a sacrifice outlet for 2 mana, and sacrificing another creature or artifact, draw a card. And one of the most powerful creatures in this deck is Blood Vial Purveyor, a 4 mana 5/6 with flying and trample, and whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player creates a blood token. And whenever Blood Vial Purveyor attacks, it gets +0/+1 for each blood token defending player controls. Now let's go to some typical drain creatures that we are about to play. Zulaport Cutthroat, a 2 mana 1/1, whenever it or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Elas Ilkor Sadistic Pilgrim, a 2 mana 2/2 with Death Touch, and whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life, and whenever another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Cruel Celebrant, a 2 mana 1/2, whenever it or another creature or planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Mirkwood Bats is probably one of the strongest rain creatures in this deck, a 4 mana 2/3 with flying, and whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. Nadir's Nightblade, a 3 mana 1/3, whenever a token you control leaves the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Corpse Knight, a 2 mana 2/2, whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life. And now let's talk about a few artifacts and enchantments in this deck. Ashnod's Altar, a 3 mana artifact, sacrifice a creature to add 2 colorless mana. Staff of the Storyteller, a 2 mana artifact, when it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying. And whenever you create 1 or more creature tokens, put a story counter on Staff of the Storyteller. For 1 mana, tapping it and removing a story counter from Staff of the Storyteller, you draw a card. Due to the fact that we are creating a bunch of tokens in this deck, we also have to play Idol of Oblivion, a 2 mana artifact, and you can tap it to draw a card, but you can only activate it if you created a token this turn. For 8 mana, tapping it and sacrificing it, you create a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token. Of course, we want to slow our opponents down, which is why we play Blind Obedience, a 2 mana enchantment with Extort, and artifacts and creatures your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. The tokens that we are creating with Kambal come in tapped, so let's untap them. We play Halo Fountain, a 3 mana artifact, and for 1 mana, tapping it, untap a tapped creature you control. Create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. For 2 white mana, tapping it, untap 2 tapped creatures you control to draw a card. And for 5 mana, tapping it and untapping 15 tapped creatures you control, you win the game. As I have just said, the tokens enter the battlefield tapped, so we play Amulet of Vigor, a 1 mana artifact, and whenever a permanent enters the battlefield tapped and under your control, untap it. This 1 mana artifact will immediately allow us to use those tokens for more value, by either sacrificing them immediately or using them as blockers. You want to win more? You get it. Divine Visitation, a 5 mana enchantment, and if 1 or more creature tokens would be created under your control, that many 4/4 White Angel creature tokens with flying and vigilance are created instead. In the most cases we are handing out 1/1 creatures to our opponents, so getting 4/4 angels is a really nice trade for that. Of course we have to play Sanguine Bond, a 5 mana enchantment. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. And as we are playing Sanguine Bond, we also have to play Exquisite Blood, a 5 mana enchantment. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. These 2 cards will provide an infinite combo that will win you the game on the spot. Alright guys, these were a few cards that I will play in Kambal, Profiteering Mayor. Let me know down in the comments below which cards you would add to the deck, which legendary creature I shall feature next, and then I would say, see you in the next one. Goodbye guys.